Welcome everyone. First of all, I'm very happy to see some familiar faces, also some new faces. I think it's great to have this webinar, even now with 7 people joining. It's amazing so early in this process. And yes, it's also the inaugural governance webinar. So whenever this comes up in the future, you can say, I've been there. I've been there from the very beginning. So just a very short introduction. My name is Patrik, and I am currently functioning as the Chief Governance Officer, or CGO for short, for the football club group. In 2022 and 2023, I supported Anthony mainly in creating the initial co-op structure, where most of the time was dedicated to create the bylaws. And it took us some month, I think, to achieve the full vision of what we wanted for inclusivity and equity, and at the same time making these bylaws very legally sound. But I'm very proud that we are now at a stage where all of this is certainly accomplished, and where we already have over 50, Anthony just said 55 members as of now, that share the same mission and values. So just some quick facts about me. I am 28 years old, I'm from Germany, and I play football since I am 5 years old. My favorite team is Borussia Mönchengladbach, as you will probably see over this presentation as well. And before we dive into the actual contents of today's webinar, I think this is also a good moment to say that I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time, for being here today. And just for supporting the project and believing in this project so early. So let's quickly go over today's agenda. We will start by talking about the general purpose of these webinars that we will have starting today. We will also quickly go into the discussion of the schedule. I will share what we thought was the best idea, and then in the Q&A session we can always come back to this and maybe hear your thoughts. When would be the best time for you to join, so that maybe in the future we can do it with 20, 40, 50 or 100 people. We will then go over what is governance, some of our FCG principles for governance, and then go a bit into the details of how this is currently set up and how you can participate in the future. So what is the purpose of these governance webinars? So short term, that means initially we want all members to become familiar with the cooperative structure that we set up, and also with the governance and organizational structure that we envision going forward. We also want to make sure that all new members get the chance to start with the same level of knowledge, so that whoever joins now will know the same things as anyone that joined a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or that's been there from the beginning. And yes, once every member owner is on the same level and is aware of the ins and outs of our setup, the governance webinars will then evolve into governance meetings. So long term, we want to provide then a regular platform for discussion and also advancement of our governance. So regarding the schedule, the proposed schedule was that we meet every first Monday of a month, just because I thought that maybe Monday evening is the least busy day or the least busy time slot regarding any other football duties. I expect that many of the members will be engaged in some sort of football activities already. They may be coaches, they may be players, and at least in Germany, it's often that if you're not on a professional level, you've probably had a game on the weekend, so Monday is usually free, there's usually no training. I thought maybe that translates to different places across the world, but of course, we can open up a poll, or we can discuss now at the end of this meeting to find a timing that works best for everyone. And I have no problem accommodating any time zones, really. We will find out. Okay, so this is kind of the basic organizational stuff out of the way, I told you will find out that my favorite team is Borussia. Just to give you a short break from the facts, I think this is a really good picture showing you what we want to achieve. This is the return to the Champions League from my club after 37 years. So we used to clash with the European giants regularly in the 1970s. Once even played a European Cup final, which was the predecessor competition to the Champions League as we know it now. Unfortunately lost to Liverpool, so there's no title that we could add to our tally, but yes, this is a picture from the first match in 2015 when we got back into the Champions League, and you can see what it meant to basically what began as a very small member-owned club that just made their way into the competition by pure hard work. And I think it's of course my personal club, but it's also a great focus to have as a group that everything is possible with member-owned clubs as well. We don't need a single billionaire owner to achieve the goals. So, okay, let's go some more details. What actually is governance? First of all, I want to say there is no one perfect or complete definition of the term governance, but it is currently referred to as the structure and processes that are used to make and enforce decisions in communities, where such communities can be anything. It can be a society, it can be businesses, or really any type of organization, like, for example, our co-op. And one definition that I like is the one given here by the International Bureau of Education, because it emphasizes the attributes of good governance, especially transparency, equity, inclusiveness, also empowerment and broad-based participation. So this example, this definition, for example, already includes some perspective of good governance. There's not only good governance can go in the wrong direction. I like a positive outlook on this. So this is the one that maybe you can come back to and see well to get a general idea. If you want to make it easy, then the governance is just the structure and processes that our or other organizations run on. With this in mind, I also want to build upon the attributes of good governance and want to emphasize some of the fundamental governance principles of our organization. First, all of us have equal ownership in the cooperative, and with that comes equal rights and duties. Second, this is really, really central in every step forward. Every member owner has equal voting power. So one member, one vote, and there's no exception to this rule. And then third, we truly, truly believe that our cooperative structure and the shared mission is what makes us strong. So therefore, we want to eagerly encourage each and every member to raise their voice and participate in shaping FCG really the way they want to see it win. So today is really the starting point of this, where we meet and we can discuss ideas even in the Q&A session later. And I can't stress this point enough. I mean, there's some people now that started this, but going forward, we really want to get everyone on board and get each and every single small idea that contributes to achieving our main goal. And with this, we're coming to probably the most important slide of today's webinar. If you can only remember one slide from today, I think it should probably be this one going forward, because this is kind of the summary of what we want to make sure we stand for as a co-op. Because in most football clubs as we currently know them, the structure kind of resembles a pyramid, and notably this pyramid is usually features a very narrow tip with a single owner that is having the ultimate control over the decision making. For FCG, of course, this is different. This is why we are here and why everyone joined. The power is held by the membership, and it is equally shared between all member owners. Remember, equal ownership, equal rights, and one member, one vote, no exception. The membership oversees and elects some representatives, which is in this case the board of directors. To allow for broad representation of our membership, we want to have a board of 11 directors, and these directors, they establish and manage the collective goals of our organization. Due to the fact that at one point of the journey, there will be tasks that require daily attention, the board of directors will appoint officers to run the day-to-day operations of FCG. And these 4 officer positions are the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, and the Chief Governance Officer, as well as a secretary that then supports these 3 officers with organizational responsibilities. The most important takeaway here is that the membership is up top. It is holding ultimate power over the collective decisions. And secondly, there's no level of the organizational structure where there is this tip that we know from single owner setups, where a single person has exclusive control over the decision making. Today is only the first really introductory meeting, so we don't go further in detail, but we will cover each of these levels of this structure in detail in the future governance webinars. So, of course, use the Q&A session today if you have any questions, but we will have a dedicated meeting for the organizational structure and even for each of these levels to find out, what are the duties of the board of directors, for example, for the officers. How can you become member of the board of directors? And what are your general rights and how can you support just being part of the membership? Okay, so to give everyone a breather after this very important slide, the only and most important one that you really need to remember maybe going forward, this is another image. You can see that was the second match after coming back to the Champions League for Borussia. That was against Juve. So I know we have some Italian people joining. We couldn't beat them. I don't think we have a Juve fan here right now, so I can say unfortunately, but I mean, that's the way. If you come up through the ranks and then you meet the European giants, you have to admit most of the time to defeat. That's okay. I just think it looks wonderful. Whatever club you support, I think we can appreciate coming back into the competition, celebrating big. Okay, let's dive into the last 2 slides for today. I just want to give you some ideas how to dive deeper into the details of our governance if you want to. First of all, of course, I recommend that you join the upcoming governance webinars. As I said before, we will have one every month and we can discuss perfect timing later. If you can't wait for whatever reason until next month or ever find yourself in a situation where you need a specific info right away, I suggest 2 ways of finding what you need. First, you can search for the information you need in the available online resources. So that means from your member dashboard, you can enter the owner trainings section, where you can then find the complete documents of the articles of incorporation, our bylaws, and the current member agreement. We also started a quick or short video series covering the fundamentals of FCG. And we also provide in the owner training section a number of quick guides and handbooks. For example, one handbook that is specifically dedicated to governance topics. However, if you don't find the information you need in these resources, or you simply prefer a personal conversation instead, you can always reach out. You can either reach out to the complete membership using the group chat on the member dashboard. There will always be members online that will probably know an answer to the question. With 50 members, someone usually knows. or you can always directly contact me or Anthony. There's also a button labeled with Ask the CGO in the Owner Training Center, so that makes it really easy to reach out to me. Otherwise, you can always send me an email if that's easier for you. You can also always send an email to the team address, and please use these channels to reach out whenever you want or need. At this early stage, I think it is very likely that your questions are shared by other members, and if you are missing a specific information, others will probably miss the same information too. So I will try my very best to regularly update all the materials and to include all the feedback that either me or Anthony receives. And yes, this is really, I think, a good transition to the already last slide for today. I really want to emphasize one last time that we want to encourage every one of you to participate and to improve our cooperative governance-wise, but really in any direction that you can think of. And right now, the best way to do this is really to participate in these webinars and meetings, providing feedback to me, to the board members, whoever you think you have the best connection to, just, come forward. Or really just send a message straight into the group chat for all members to see. And yes, there's the info in the chat, and to recruit more people, of course, to share the mission, to share the vision. You are here because you believe in it, and so do we. So, if you just encourage other people to join, that's amazing. So if you ever need to reach out directly with ideas, questions, anything, please send a message, as I said before, to Anthony. Email address is here, or to me at Patrik@footballclubgroup.com. We will come back to you usually within a day. And okay, I just read the message by Kaveh. Thank you for being here, and thank you to each and every one of you for being here. So now we have the time of at least another 5 minutes for questions, ideas, and let's discuss how we move forward.